Sicily, 1978. The island slept beneath a sky heavy with summer heat. Dry winds rolled down the hills of Corleone, carrying dust, the smell of olives, and the weight of stories whispered through generations. In this land, silence was a shield, memory was a weapon, honor was a rope wrapped around every man's neck. At the center of these hills stood the aging Don Matteo Ruggieri, a man whose name once made rivals hesitate and soldiers lower their eyes. His hands were old, his movements slow, yet his voice still held the steel of a man who survived 3 mafia wars and buried every enemy who ever challenged him. To outsiders, Ruggieri was a legend. To Sicily, he was an inevitability. To his own family, he was the reason they still breathed. Don Matteo believed in the ancient ways. A man's word was his spine. A family was sacred. Violence was an answer only when insult demanded it. The old Don grew troubled. Something dark moved through the island. Younger clans no longer honored the codes he lived by. They ran heroin through rural roads, bribed judges openly, bought politicians like horses at a market. They cared for profits more than tradition. They worshipped speed over patience. The worst of them carried one name, the Vasta Brothers. Rumors said they wanted all of Corleone, all of Palermo, all of Sicily. Rumors said they wanted Don Matteo gone. The hills of Corleone remembered blood well. They were about to taste more. Part 2, The New Wolves. On a warm September evening, Don Matteo met with his captains in a dim stone room beneath his villa. Lanterns flickered, cigarette smoke drifted like ghosts above the long wooden table. Outside, cicadas sang their endless song. At the far end of the table sat Salvatore Vasta, the younger brother, tall, sharp, a knife disguised as a man. He wore a perfect suit, pale sunglasses, and a smile that never reached his eyes. He had demanded a meeting. That alone was an insult. Don Matteo studied him. "You come here without invitation," the old Don said. "This is not the way of men." Salvatore shrugged. "The world changes, Don Matteo. Old ways die. You can rule the past. We want the future." Silence cracked across the room. Salvatore placed a folder on the table. Inside were photographs of docks, trucks, routes. Every heroin line from Sicily to Palermo. A bold move. A declaration of war wrapped as business. "My brother and I offer you peace," Salvatore said. "Step aside. Let us run the shipments. Enjoy your retirement. The most disrespectful word a mafioso could hear. Don Matteo's fingers tightened on his cane. "Young man," he replied, "I buried men stronger than you before you learned to walk." Salvatore's smile sharpened. "We'll see." He rose, walked out. His footsteps echoed like nails tapping a coffin lid. The captains turned to their Don. "What do we do?" Don Matteo exhaled. "A wolf that shows his teeth must be answered." Part 3, The Betrayer in the Olive Grove. 2 nights later, as the moon cast silver over the olive trees, Don Matteo walked slowly toward the grove behind his villa. He often came here to think. The trees were old, older than his family, roots twisted through soil that had tasted centuries of tears and blood. He was not alone. Footsteps, a quiet shift in the leaves, the sound of metal sliding free. "Don," a voice whispered, "forgive me." Matteo recognized it instantly. Enrico, his godson, his most loyal soldier. The boy he raised after his father died in a feud. A betrayal like that does not come from greed. It comes from fear. Don Matteo did not turn. "They bought you," he said softly. Enrico's breath trembled. "I had no choice, Don." "They have my sister," Matteo nodded, still facing the trees. "Listen to me," he said. "If you kill me, they will kill you next. If you lower that gun, I can protect you." Enrico hesitated. A lifetime of loyalty pulled against a lifetime of fear. Then the leaves rustled. Then a gun clicked. Then a miracle happened. A shot cracked through the night, but not from Enrico. A blast came from the villa wall. A sniper fired first. Enrico fell to his knees, not dead, only grazed. A warning shot. Don Matteo turned, his voice like gravel. "Stand up, boy. No one betrays me while still breathing." He took Enrico's gun. He helped him to his feet. He whispered, "This ends only one way." With war, the grove stayed silent. Even the wind stopped moving. Part 4. The Night of Knives. War came quickly. The Vasta Brothers struck first. Car bombs in Palermo. 2 captains killed near the market. A courier vanished on the road to Trapani, his car found burned and empty. The newspapers called it the Silent War of Corleone. The police pretended not to see. The priest prayed louder. Don Matteo gathered his men in an abandoned monastery high above the valley. The walls were cracked, the air cold, candles flickering against stone. "This is not business," Don Matteo said. "This is survival." Maps were laid out, routes marked in red, safe houses listed, Vasta informants identified. The old Don tapped one name with his cane, Salvatore Vasta. "The head of a snake must be cut clean," he said. His men nodded. Respect, not fear. The next 48 hours were absolute chaos. Shotgun blasts in narrow alleys, engines racing through dark rural roads, bodies pulled from wells, warnings carved into doors. Neither side gained ground. Neither side retreated. Then on a cold dawn, Don Matteo received word. Salvatore will be at the Santa Maria warehouse tonight. It would be the final night. Part 5. The Last Dawn of Don Matteo. The warehouse smelled of metal and coastal wind. A single lamp hung above the center, swinging slightly, casting long shadows across the floor. Salvatore Vasta waited in the center, calm, confident. "You came alone," Salvatore said. Don Matteo stepped forward, cane tapping quietly. "A man ends things himself." Salvatore cocked his head. "You could have lived in peace. Old men should not fight the future." Matteo's eyes narrowed. "You are not the future. You are a mistake the island will correct." Salvatore drew a gun. Matteo did not flinch. A shot cracked. Matteo staggered, but only slightly. The bullet grazed his shoulder. Hidden Ruggieri soldiers emerged from the shadows. Gunfire exploded. Sparks lit the walls. Shells clattered on concrete. Salvatore ran toward the back door. Matteo followed slowly, painfully, gripping his cane like a sword. Outside, dawn broke over the Sicilian hills. Salvatore stumbled. Matteo raised the gun he took from Enrico. "For Sicily," he whispered. One shot. Salvatore fell. The war ended. The hills were quiet again. Don Matteo collapsed seconds later, the wound deeper than he admitted. His men gathered around him. "Don, stay with us." Matteo breathed slowly, the dawn warming his face. "Keep honor," he said. Then his eyes closed. The island lost a relic that morning. The new world took its first breath. If you made it to the end, thank you. Please leave a like and subscribe. It helps me create more stories like this one, because some secrets are still waiting to be heard.